Today's face-off on Fox Soul. Challengers Quan LX and Big Angry Adams ready to go blow by blow on those hot topics. Face-off on Fox Soul starts right now.
As well as we're learning, the Attorney General is ordering a grand jury investigation into claims by the White House that former President Obama ordered a probe into then candidate Trump's 2016 campaign connections to Russia, allegedly to try to hurt his chances of becoming president. By the way, allegations that are not substantiated. A Justice Department spokesperson declined to comment when asked about the letter. Just a couple weeks ago, the office for the former president said, in part, these claims are outrageous enough to merit a comment. The bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. I want to bring in Monica Alba, who is at the White House. Plain English it here. Why does this matter? What does this mean?
Remember a couple of weeks ago, Hallie, when really the headlines were dominated by the Jeffrey Epstein controversy, and then the president was sort of trying to change the topic very obviously and in many different venues, was trying to bring up these unsubstantiated claims about the role he argues former President Obama had in the 2016 election and trying to suppress some information that he says would have been damaging if it had come to light. And so then you had the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, come to the White House briefing room, come to the podium and try to share some of this alleged new evidence. Well, now you have the Attorney General saying that they're going to try to take that information, which, remember, they had announced a strike force to look into what they call this new evidence and try to evaluate it to see if there could be any potential criminal indictments that they would follow. And the thing that matters here is that this is basically a grand jury investigation that's being launched, but that will happen in secret.
In this round, here's Quan LX.
Charles, the Attorney General Pam Bondi, appointed and anointed with the blessing of President Donald Trump, has now taken the push to have the Justice Department take some information that President Trump has already accused President Obama of participating in a treasonous act, a treasonous conspiracy to stop him from winning the election. And the plan is to have a grand jury in secret, and you know all grand juries are secret. They're going to provide information to that grand jury about President Obama and some of his administrative officials who are no longer there, like Comey and a few others. And I believe that that grand jury is going to come back with an indictment. And I believe that this is President Trump's attempt to break the back of the Democratic Party, to discombobulate and confuse Democratic voters. And I believe that they're going to indict the former president, President Obama, on these charges, charge him with treason. And when he's charged with treason, he won't get a bond. You don't get charged with treason in America and get a bond. They're going to attempt not only to arrest him, but to lock him up and keep him in jail. And what they're hoping for is that black people will be so angry, so outraged, that we would take to the streets like never before. This is a conspiracy at the highest level of Donald Trump's administration to implement a wicked scheme and a wicked plan to forever hold on to power and to forever destroy who he perceived to be his enemies that did this very thing to him. And I believe what they did to Donald Trump in his attempt to be in re-election to become president again, all of those indictments and charges and trials was a sham to stop him from becoming re-elected. So they were afraid they couldn't beat him at the ballot box, so they tried to beat him in the courtroom, which was wrong. And I said it then, and I'm saying it now. But what he is doing right here is just as wrong, and he's participating now in the same evil that he said was being done to him. I warn black people, they hope that we take to the streets and really riot when President Obama will be arrested. It's coming, brothers and sisters. And they hope that when we take to the streets, Donald Trump is going to declare martial law. They're already set up for it. They've already been planning this. And when they declare martial law, they will suspend elections and suspend other constitutional protections to make sure we no longer have an elected president. We now are being governed by a dictator who has the power to control democracy in America from that point. brothers, don't fall for this. Let us prepare for what's coming. Because I'm telling you something, listen to the language before Pam Bondi sent this thing to the Justice Department and sent it to those to move on to a grand jury with these allegations against President Obama. He said, oh, he's guilty. He should be locked up. He should go to jail. This is the language of the president. And Ms. Bondi echoed those same sentiments. You and I both know prosecutors can indict a ham sandwich because only one side is presented, not both sides before a grand jury.
You know, sometimes I don't see how you reconcile your arguments. I mean, first of all, let's address, I'm glad that you conceded very early on in that lengthy speech that grand juries are always confidential and private because it appeared, I think that was MSNBC's telejournalists seemed to be suggesting that it was nefarious, right? And that's how the media gets you, right? They take something regular and act like it's something evil or something different. But grand juries obviously always meet in secrecy. It's always in private, and it's not something for the public to participate in. But MSNBC framed it different. And that's what we have in the media, is we have this framing. And you see how she was both of them were just discounting all evidence of there possibly being a conspiracy to thwart the outcome of the 2016 election, to subvert that outcome, to imprison Donald Trump, and yet you've just conceded that it happened, right? So if it did happen, if they did unfairly fabricate crimes and target him with an effort to destroy his life and imprison him, that was a crime, right? And now it's not the same, it's not an analogous crime to respond, it's an appropriate investigation. So here's the big question. You look, it's just like when the media lined up with the left to tell us that, oh, it all came from a wet market. This didn't leak from a lab. We've got to shut down your small business and destroy every restaurant and every bar. You know, it's like 70% of the family-owned restaurants closed in New York City. I think it was more than 50% across the nation, while rich people like Tom Brady and Taylor Swift were taking free government money. It's all insane, right? And everyone that was upset about it was told they were conspiracy theorists and a liar. What happened here was there was a fabricated dossier that alleged that there was collusion between Trump and Russia, the Steele dossier, that was pushed by people involved in the Hillary Clinton campaign. And then it was taken to the Obama administration, and it was used to get FISA warrants to spy on an active candidate for the presidency of a major party, with the sole intention of thwarting the outcome of the election, or after he won the election, thwarting his presidency and getting him impeached. It was a conspiracy that was much, much worse than Watergate. And the reason more people are outraged and just partisans on the right are the ones angry is because the media is working with the Democrats to lie to everybody. Look, I have no bone to pick with Obama, right? I've never been a Republican in my entire life. But what the Democrats have done over the last 20 years has been so horrendous and such a walking away from the concerns of working class Americans, abandoning criminal justice and public safety, demonizing white people, justifying active discrimination against whites and Asians in the workplace and in higher education, and just acting like that we all have to agree with this new climate alarmism that's really just a mechanism for greater taxation and more control. And really, when it all started to become unwound, because we saw this surge of populism on a wave that Donald Trump rode to the White House not once but twice, then there was clearly an actual conspiracy to thwart the outcome and the will of the American people because they didn't think that's what was good for the American people. That's not a democracy. And I hope that Obama was not involved. I hope that he was not the decision maker on these
That's not the words of the president, though. He said he was, and he said he's guilty of treason.
I haven't seen the evidence.
That's the president.
I think we need to see it.
But
and if he was guilty of treason, then he needs to have a consequence
on the campaign trail,
because they were very happy
on the
putting
campaign
Trump
trail,
in
Trump
jail,
promised
getting Trump
that
in
he
a
wouldn't play
photos.
clapback.
Okay.
He promised he wouldn't play clapback.
Like
secondly, he promised he would not condone.
Are you shocked he didn't want to leave after all the weirdness?
Against his enemies like he did against him. He said, I will unite America, I will heal this nation.
Okay.
You think
Did you think for a moment he was gonna?
If he indicts,
but did you think he would?
If he indict, no.
Because you
but
were
if he
a Trumper
indicts,
for a minute.
no, I was not. You
bit.
always
A
are.
little bit.
You
A
the man
little
that
bit.
pretend you like black people, but you really hate the hell out of black folks and love white folks.
What are you talking
and
about?
Same thing you
know
talking
what?
about.
I
But the
don't-
bottom line is,
I don't
this
judge
man
people
promised
by something as
to heal
stupid as
America
complexion.
and
I
unite
judge
America.
people by their
If he
actions.
indicts Obama, that won't heal America. That will not
I
unite
absolutely
America.
agree.
That will break
I
America.
absolutely agree.
And when it breaks America, he's hoping for riots. He's hoping
don't
to
think- I
be able
don't
to
think
declare
so.
martial law.
I don't
they
think
want
so.
an excuse to attack black people. And
I
that
don't
excuse is
think
the
so.
war on crime. And when we take to the streets in the protests, they're
Why-
going to use the
why-
National
why-
Guard.
why would a
They're going to
war
use the
on crime
Marines
attack
the
black
same
people?
way in Los Angeles.
Hold on. Why would a war on crime attack black people?
It already did. The war on crime
Wouldn't the
did
war on
target black
crime
people.
attack
The
criminals?
war on crime of the Reagan administration and Bush administration, Bush 1,
Oh, you mean
targeted
Clinton.
black people.
You mean Clinton and Biden?
And Clinton also.
Yes,
Those
super predators.
administrations
That was Clinton and
targeted black folk under the disguise of the war on crime.
Actually, the
Charles,
changes to the federal sentencing
this
guidelines
is a
were
conspiracy to
during
start
Clinton.
a race war in America.
No, that's absolute nonsense. In fact,
They
I
wanna
think it's
start a
racist
war
for you
in
to suggest-
America by
I think
doing
it's
this.
racism directed at black people to think that a war on
If that man
victim
locked
crime
up President
would
Obama
target black
and
people.
hold him with no
Well,
bond,
a war on
which
victim
for a
crime
treason
should
charge,
just target
what the hell you
criminals.
think black folk gonna do?
Well, I mean,
If he arrests that man, put him in jail, President Obama, with no bond, what the hell you think we gonna do?
Well, did you see white people going to the streets and tearing the world down? When
I
they
saw
kept-
January
when
6th.
they kept putting people.
I saw January
No,
6th.
I'm talking about after the
I
election.
saw January 6th.
So Alvin Bragg, the DA of Manhattan, he said very early on, "Yeah, I'm not going to indict Trump. This is all nonsense." I mean,
And what he did was wrong.
And then he
It was politics.
He 180'd on it. He 180'd on it at the direction of the Biden administration. And then the media aligned with the Biden administration, aligned with the DA in New York to push what was clearly a misdemeanor with an expired statute of limitations and fabricate a felony just to put Donald Trump in prison. And the only reason he didn't go to prison is before they could sentence him, he got elected president, right? We saw what was going on in Georgia and that incredibly, at least it appears, very, very, very corrupt district attorney who was pushing stuff that she knew wasn't a valid case, hoping that she could get the right jury to convict him. So if it turns out
what will it
Biden
do to
and
America?
Obama were all involved
What is
in
this
it,
going to do to America?
you don't want to expose it? I
So,
don't think they
I
should
didn't
put
say
the
that.
president in jail.
I didn't say that.
I absolutely don't think Obama
Put
should
it
be
out
arrested.
to the people and let the people see it all. Expose
But
all
how
of
about-
it to the people.
how about
The
all
same
the
way he
people
promised to
around
expose
Trump
the
that went to
Epstein files
prison?
and be
How about all
transparent
the
with the
people
Epstein files and release
around
that.
Trump?
And they haven't done it yet.
Okay, think about
Come
all
on now,
all
Charles.
the people that the Biden administration.
That is going to break
Well, let's talk
America,
about it.
not unite it.
So we know now, for a fact now that Biden family members were working as unregistered foreign agents both for China
I
and
completely
Romania,
agree.
taking millions of dollars, while at the very same time the Biden Justice Department was jailing and imprisoning the people in the Trump circle alleging they did the same thing.
And that's what Trump getting ready to do
But here's the
with
thing.
his
Well,
clapback,
Biden said,
which
I
will break
will not
America
pardon my
and
son.
perhaps divide it for another
Okay,
100 years.
So why on earth would we expect Trump, who got to the
Because he
presidency...
promised to be different.
But he's not.
He gave his word
Okay.
on the campaign
I
trail
think at
that
least-
he would be different
I think
and that
he's
he
at
wouldn't
least
play
a little more
clapback and that
transparent.
he would not go after his enemies. He promised to unite the country, to heal the country. Charles, doing this is not going to unite it.
Okay, but
it's
don't-
not going to heal it. It's going to create a wound that may
don't
never
disagree.
heal.
But don't you? Well, I think it will. But don't
It
you
will
think-
create a
but
wound
your
that
whole
not in our
fabulism-
lifetime.
your whole
It'll create a wound
fabulism
that won't heal in our
trying- Your
lifetime.
whole fabulism that they're trying to start a race war is just nonsense. It's just you.
That's exactly what
hyperbolic
Trump
nonsense.
wants. And
No,
J.D. Vance, too.
Absolutely not. Right? There's no.
Ladies
evidence
and
of
gentlemen,
that.
did you all hear J.D. Vance's words about the fight and the attack of the white man and white woman in Cincinnati who were leaving the concert? Did you hear J.D. Vance's words?
Oh, it was awful.
Cold language.
He's from Ohio.
That's prepared to
It's
start
awful.
war against a whole group of
Did
people
you-
that they hate and that they don't
you
like.
he-
And if we as black folk
Hold
don't pay
on.
attention to that cold language, well then we'll be like Jewish people was when Adolf Hitler was
Lord.
using cold
Did
words.
you hear
and he fulfilled those
Did you
words
hear
with a
the-
conspiracy.
Did you hear the expressed words of the leadership of the political leadership in Cincinnati, who did everything they could to? A couple of them actually said that they deserved it. That the woman deserved the beating. beating she got. We've had another video released where
she wasn't completely innocent.
We had another.
She was pulling hair. No, she pulled the woman's hair, injected before she got punched. A woman that was on the ground. Woman's on the ground. She ran up behind her and pulled her hair. Then she got punched.
Then
so she was not innocent
out,
Amy in the whole process.
She was absolutely
and the white
innocent.
guy slapped the black guy first.
That
so he wasn't
turned out to be a lie.
He wasn't an innocent Jimmy
There was
first.
allegations that he used racial pejoratives. Apparently there was, from someone in the group, a racial pejorative used, but only after he had been beaten to the ground, kicked and stomped.
But
right?
according
Which
to
doesn't
eyewitnesses in
justify
another video,
no, there was
he
videos.
slapped the man first.
Okay,
he slapped that brother first.
If you're going to engage, well, I mean, this is what you do. You lie on air. That's your whole
No,
job. Right.
We can pull the TikTok. Do we pull it?
But here's a
of several eyewitnesses.
The truth
who were
is
there.
that you're just bringing up other subjects was what you don't want to talk
you
about.
You brought up other subjects in this discussion.
No, you're the one that brought up J.D. Vance.
But you brought up other subjects also.
Okay.
We tend to digress and we tend to defer
what
to
you
other
want to do
subjects to
is
relate to the subject matter at hand.
You are just a smokescreen because you don't want to talk about the fact that Tulsi Gabbard is disclosing a tremendous amount of evidence that there was a propaganda.
Oh, the Epstein files?
There was a propaganda
the
machine
Epstein files
between the Obama administration
Trump is named
and the Clinton campaign
in detail.
And the complicit media and the complicit intelligence department. Remember the intelligence and the media? They threw the New York Post off Twitter for talking about pre-election talking about the laptop.
Which was wrong.
But the thing is, there has to be consequences. We have to say that we are not going to accept a media that lies to America for the purpose of influencing outcomes of elections.
Hunter Biden's interview.
Crackhead.
And we all understood after watching the interview what time it was.
It was crack time.
Big time.
But I knew years ago.
A dope fiend on TV being interviewed. Speaking for the Biden family. But Charles, this is going to hurt America.
I don't disagree.
If he indicts President Obama,
I don't disagree.
It's going to create a climate.
I want the truth.
That'll be so thick, you can cut it with a butter knife.
I want the truth because I don't want either party to ever do what the Obama administration did and try to influence the outcome of an election again.
Trump released Obama's information to the public and all the Epstein files at the same time.
I'm all with both of those.
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4. Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Oh my God! Little girl. Oh my God. The girl! Oh my God!
In this round, here's Charles Big Angry Adams.
I am likely as confused as y'all. I was briefed that this was a shoplifting video. It looked like it was a Caucasian girl, running away and then acting indignant. We are in the era of indignant thieves. That sounded to me like it was overseas, possibly in the United Kingdom. But we have entered this era where people not only steal, but are willing to act unbelievably indignant and engage in use physical force to try to escape, right? When I was a policeman in the 90s, if you were caught stealing and you did anything to fight your way out of it, right? To shove, push, hit, kick, whatever, that was strong arm robbery, right? If you went to Walmart, stole some stuff, and they went and stopped you, and you shoved the person and took off running, you got charged with simple robbery, which is a felony, right? Nowadays, no matter if you punch someone in the face, run off, steal tens of thousands of stuff, the police don't respond. And on the rare occasion that they do, you don't even get a slap on the wrist. In fact, we saw those little kids early in the week, those little monsters, right? Which you took exception with me calling them monsters, acting indignant both during the attempted theft and afterwards, no consequences. And now you see this little monster acting indignant and acting as she should have no consequences. And I'm just tired of it. I think we need to make the police again. And the show, I think it was yesterday, you talked about how a renewed war on crime would target black people. I don't think so. I think a renewed war on crime would target criminals of whatever race or ethnicity. Let's start putting criminals again. I saw this horrifying statistic about Somali immigrants, mass migrants in a Scandinavian country, that 22% of them are currently incarcerated, and over half of them have been charged with a crime.
Yeah, they need free labor.
I mean, at some point,
they need free labor.
Okay, but the thing is, countries in the West, European countries, America, maybe we should stop importing criminals. Maybe we should go back to evaluating people who come in this country, and maybe we should limit it.
But this little girl shoplifting ain't got nothing to do with all that.
Well, okay, yeah, this little girl shoplifting. You know,
she
should be in jail. She should get a real consequence.
She was shoplifting.
Is she a monster?
And in fact, when she went back up the escalator, she went back up to fight with the people who tried to get the things from her.
A little monster.
And then she went downstairs and got into a fight with those downstairs trying to stop her at the same time.
Monster.
People from loss prevention.
Tell me, is she a monster, Quanell?
She's not.
Oh, she's not.
You know what that is?
What?
That is a child, obviously, who has bad parenting. That's a child who's mentally and psychologically
just
not
earlier
on the
in the
right
week,
course.
You said it was unfair to assume it was a bad parent.
I said bad parenting. I said bad parenting.
Okay.
I said, where's the father?
No.
And I also said,
you said it was
that no
unfair.
father obviously was in the home.
You said it was
but I
unfair
never called the child a monster.
Okay.
And you know what I didn't do?
And you took exception
You
when I
called
called
the
her
parents of the black kids shoplifting monsters.
Oh, yeah, she's a monster,
But guess
too.
what? You ain't called this little white kid's parents monsters. You was real gentle. You was real passionate about the black kids shoplifting. But you were real nice and gentle about this little 9-year-old girl. And that, those are black 9 and 10-year-olds.
Right.
Also, this little white girl, you were real gentle.
Was she? I thought
you
she
was real soft when you talked about her. You didn't condemn her parents. You didn't question her parents, not one time, but called the black parents monsters
for the record,
whom you did not know.
That girl's a monster, and her parents suck, and are probably monsters
now
too.
He want to clean it up.
No, I don't want to clean it up. That's my position.
That's it for the Face Off on Fox Soul. We'll catch you next time.